Hello, my Kitine Army. I hope that you all are doing amazing, staying hydrated and healthy. I'm your chemistry master teacher, Shilpi Kaushik at Vedantu. And today we are going to discuss evaporation and vaporization. There were a lot of doubts related to this topic in the previous class. So today we're just going to clear all of them out, right? So before that, there is one chotu sa thing that we left in the previous session, that how can we convert the state of matter by applying pressure, by changing pressure, whether we need to increase pressure or decrease pressure, at what conditions apart from pressure we need to apply to convert the state of matter. So what we did in the previous class, I told you about the temperature, that how on applying temperature, how on changing the temperature we can convert the state of matter. And in this class we also discussed the concept of latent heat. That is very important, so please do not miss that point. Latent heat of fusion, latent heat of vaporization. Why does it happen that whenever there is a change in the state of matter, the temperature becomes constant? Where is the heat energy going when the thermometer is also working fine? Okay, so we know that's because of the latent heat. So now, is it possible to change the state of matter with the help of pressure? Yes, definitely. So let's get started. Before that, keep the Josh high. Okay, so you have to stay connected till the very end of the session. Just give blue hearts in the chat box. Okay, and now we are getting started. How does pressure affect in the state of matter? Basically, देखो, I'll just let you know, in the last class also I told you that gases have this property in them, that particles are very less, bounded to each other. So there are the rather least interparticle forces of attractions between the particles of the gases, and the space is maximum. So I also took a very basic example. I told you that gases are from from a very liberal family, like the parents are very open minded. Whatever you want to do, enjoy your life, so no restrictions at all. That's like a dream life, isn't it? Okay, so how does pressure affect this? Now these are the gases, particles are just moving freely in their own zone. Now out of nowhere, what happens? You start applying pressure on the gas. So if you start applying pressure, then those gas particles would be forced to come close to each other. Yes or no? They will say, "Arey, yaar, kaun aa gaya?" So now we are forced to come closer to each other. So dheere dheere, if you keep on applying pressure, the particles start coming closer to each other. Also, there is some force of attraction that starts developing between the particles. Thoda attraction bhi they start feeling, right? And eventually a stage reaches where this gas is no longer a gas. See, arey, gases mein to there is like negligible forces of attraction, but now that has increased. So now I would be getting a liquid. So how can we change the pressure on a gas that we can convert it to a liquid? Rather, there are cases where gas will directly be converted into a solid as well. So that is how pressure is going to impact that. And इसके applications बहुत सारे होते हैं. If we talk about the LPG gas cylinders, that is clear cut the application of pressure. And in the times of COVID, now you know the importance of oxygen cylinders, isn't it? Everywhere. So even in that case, we are having the liquefied gas. So how is that all working? Pressure is causing that. Okay, so before that, let's understand what exactly is pressure in the terms of physics. I'm sure that your physics will be better than mine. I want to take an example anyway. See, what is pressure? That is force per unit area. Means, let's say this is an object. My hand is an object. So what I'm doing, I'm applying some force on my hand. I'm applying force on a body. So how much force I have applied on a body with respect to a specific area? Let's say I am just restricting the area to 1 meter square, right? So how much force I am applying on a unit area is what I can define as the pressure. So I'm applying some force here with some of the bounded area over here. So that means I'm exerting pressure on this body, right? So we can just simply define it as the force per unit area. So you can take an example. Let's say you are having an iron nail, and you are just hitting this iron nail continuously in a wall. right? So what you're doing, you are applying pressure on that iron nail, right? How is that pressure? You are applying force on a particular area, like you can understand here. This is the iron nail. This is a particular area where I'm applying the pressure continuously, and that is what defines it as the pressure. Force exerted with respect to a particular area, unit area, you can say. So I'm just doing whack, 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 whack. So that is a basic terminology of pressure. But when we talk about the gases, the meaning is slightly different. Okay, so how do I define pressure in case of the gases? You again know that gas particles are, they are so always excited, they are always moving and colliding with each other. You know, gases have very high kinetic energy. So that means speed of the particles is very high. So if this is a container, these are the gas particles which are fitted here. So not just they are colliding with each other, but also they are hitting the walls of the container. So they are applying pressure on the walls of container because of the continuous collisions that they are doing. And this pressure that is exerted on the walls of container is what we define as the pressure, right? So you can see here, the pressure of a gas is the force that gas particles are exerting on the walls of the container continuously. Okay, so why does it happen? Because they have lots of kinetic energy, they don't feel any force of attraction, so they feel, arey, हमें कौन रोकेगा, so we are free to do anything. So you would have seen this in a gas balloon also. So when you are blowing a gas balloon, what you are doing, you are filling in carbon dioxide into it. And those carbon dioxide particles are colliding with each other. Also, they are colliding with the walls of the balloon. So you would have seen it, if you blow excess of air in the balloon, then what happens? A balloon gets burst because the walls of the balloon are not able to withstand that much pressure. So अगर आप इतना ज़्यादा blow करोगे, करते जाओगे blow, then air particles are also increasing. Okay, CO2 particles inside the balloon are increasing. So if number of particles of gas is increasing, they will now apply more pressure on the walls of container. So point comes where the balloon skin is like, no, I can't take it, I give up now, right? And the balloon goes, psh. That is the same thing happening here. So see, it's written, the more the number of gas particles enclosed in a volume, the more will be the pressure exerted by the particles. That is why the balloon gets burst after a specific time. And I just have phobia with the balloons. I cannot blow balloons at all. All I just do, no. So any games that involve balloon in it, I prefer to not play that also. So you can see here, number of particles increase means collisions increase. More collisions with the walls of the container, more pressure that is applied. Okay, and one more thing you need to understand, when I'm applying pressure on a system, then what happens, there is also some reduction in the volume. Just say you can understand it just normally with the help of a basic example. Let's say I am having a container. I have taken some gas particles here. Now what will I do? I will start applying pressure on it. External force that you are applying, that is pressure. ठीक है, आपने pressure लगाया, so what happens? The particles of gas start coming closer to each other, and there is a decrease in volume. Right? इसके लिए बहुत basic example आप समझ सकते हो injection से. No, ma'am, don't take the name of injection. So you would have seen a syringe. So syringe mein what happens? The doctor is giving you an injection. So they are applying pressure on the syringe. So the moment they apply pressure on the syringe, you would have seen there is a reduction in volume. जैसे जैसे pressure लगेगा, the volume of that particular syringe keeps on decreasing. Right? Why does it happen? Because on applying pressure, the particles of gas start coming closer to each other. So if they are coming close to each other, then definitely the volume has to decrease, right? So this point is also valid. You can see in this GIF, these are the gas particles moving freely. But the moment you start applying pressure, what is happening? The particles are coming closer and the volume is decreasing. Right? So you can understand it easily now. So now let's see that when we start putting pressure and compress a gas, then what happens? ये थोड़ा सा काम की चीज है. देखो, we will understand this now. A container is there. It is having gas particles in it. Okay, now what will I start doing? The same thing is there. I will start applying pressure on the gas. कंटेनर पर मैंने प्रेशर लगाना शुरू किया. ठीक है. So now what will happen? These particles of the gas, because you are applying pressure, they will start coming closer to each other. धीरे धीरे the distance between the particles is gonna decrease. They will start coming closer to each other. Also, they will develop some forces of attraction within each other. So I told you this gas is no longer a gas. Attraction ही हो गया तो gas थोड़ी ना रही. Gas is now converted to a liquid, and this is exactly what we do in an LPG gas cylinders. Now the question number 1, ma'am, why are we doing this? इतना झमेला क्यों करना है? Why are we not directly using the gases? You are just doing you are giving so much energy and converting it to a liquid. Because why are we doing this? Gases actually require a large volume to be stored in. Gas particles are continuously moving far apart from each other. So if ever you have to fit gas into a system, then you need large containers. ठीक है. So gases को store करने के लिए large containers are required, and that is not very easy. Point number 1. The second point is that it is very difficult to transport the gases. There is a high risk. यार आप transport कर रहे हो gases को, there might be a leakage. So transportation is again a problem. So because of these two factors, what we do? We think that यार एक काम करते हैं, let's convert gas to a liquid. Because liquid will not just occupy the less space, the less volume, but also it is very easy to transport the liquids. So for this main reason, it is always advised that we convert gases into the liquid. So if you have ever paid enough attention, if you try to move your gas cylinders, घर पे जो LPG के cylinders होते हैं, you just try to move it. ठीक है, उसको shake करना थोड़ा सा, then you can hear a liquid flowing in it. That is usually butane gas is present there. So that is a liquefied butane gas. So when you just shake the cylinder, you can hear some liquid is flowing. And even if you have some transparent pipe that is connected to your gas system, कुछ लोगों के घर पे transparent pipe होता है, you can see a liquid is coming out of it. But when the gas actually, when you turn on the gas, then it comes out in the form of a gas. Liquid to gas. So how is that happening? Again, that is because of the pressure. We will understand it. ठीक है? But one thing you need to understand, temperature should also be maintained. उससे पहले देखो, I have taken 3 pistons. On the first piston, I am applying 40 kgs of weight. ठीक है, आपने force ज़्यादा लगाया, then you are increasing the force 80 kgs. On the third piston, you are applying 120 kgs of force. This is reminding me of a very basic situation. Let's say you are in class 2nd. So your school bag is not very heavy. When you go to class 5th, then number of books increase, so you're like, your shoulders just feel such compression. And let's say you are in 8th class now, then 120 kg, so many books you have to carry in your school bag, isn't it? That's too much of weight. I still remember when I used to go to my school bus, and just I always, like, walking like that, just my back was completely compressed. Anyway, so what is happening if you are putting more weight on the piston? So it means there is more pressure. More pressure means volume देखो कितना कम हो गया इसका, है ना? So particles are coming so close to each other, and there is a drastic decrease in the volume on applying such a high pressure. So this is the thing that I was talking about. So by applying the pressure, particles of matter can be brought closer to each other. And we can also get a liquid then. Applying pressure and reducing the temperature can liquefy a gas. Now what does that mean? वही है, same that if you apply pressure on a gas, you can get a liquid. Point to be noted, reducing the temperature. Please इसको circle कर लो. Why is it so important? देखो, फिर से we will imagine with the same picture, gas particles. Now what you did, you applied the pressure on them, so volume को भी you can just show थोड़ा सा कम हो जाएगा, ठीक है? You can fill more particles here. Now they are closer to each other. Imagine just that's a liquid, it's a gas, although I don't have much space to show you. So now what happens whenever you apply pressure on the gas particles? Listen to me very carefully. When you apply pressure on the gas particles, then they start coming close to each other, right? And what happens, they start colliding more frequently. Now unke collisions बढ़ जाते हैं, they're like tuk, 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 tuk. Right? So what happens now, because of this, gas particles become very aggressive. They're like, yaar, we were enjoying our freedom. It happens now, let's say there are some sort of students, there are some sort of people, they don't like to share their room. So at the time of wedding, when there are a lot of people, because a lot of people just sit in the same room, especially at the time of weddings, itna space hota nahi hai. When people just get irritated, yaar, there are like 10 people in my room, so I don't want to go in my room. So you just don't feel enough comfortable. So the same thing is happening here. Gas particles were there in their own free zone. Now what you did, you applied pressure and you are just bringing them close to each other. Volume has been reduced. So these gas particles become very angry. They're like, oh. So they start releasing some energy. So whenever there are increase in the number of collisions, then what happens? Energy is also released. Energy release matlab temperature automatically increases. So whenever you compress a gas, when you apply pressure on a gas, then temperature by default increases. Remember this. Okay, but if the temperature increases, there would be a problem. Temperature increase means now this gas will not become a liquid. Now the gas will say, we have got more kinetic energy. Why will we come closer? So the temperature बढ़ गया, they will try to move far apart from each other. So that is why whenever you are liquefying a gas, always make sure that you decrease the temperature at the same time. So for liquefying the gases, it is not just the pressure that is to be increased, but at the same time temperature has to be decreased. So जब भी हम इसे lab में करते हैं, what usually we do, first of all we apply pressure on the gas, then we pass it through a cooling tank. So एकदम से when you pass it through a cooling tank, the temperature will decrease and then you will get a liquid out of it. So remember this thing, ठीक है? इसको ऐसे याद रख लो, HPLT. HPLT, how can you convert gas to a liquid? By applying high pressure, low temperature. Okay, and if you do the reverse, let's say you have a liquid and on the liquid, if you reduce the pressure and increase the temperature, then liquid will go back to a gas. So all these states of matter are interconvertible. So liquid को gas में convert करने के लिए आप क्या करोगे? I will reduce the pressure and I will increase the temperature. So ये तो घर पे देखा होगा, when you are turning on the gas flame. So what happens? That liquid LPG that is stored in the cylinder, that comes out in the form of gas, because as soon as you turn on the knob, the pressure on that liquefied gas decreases. So pressure decrease होते ही that liquid comes out as a gas again. That is the best example. The same thing happens in the oxygen cylinders. That is a liquefied oxygen gas we have fitted in the cylinder. But just say you turn on the knob, it again pressure reduces and it comes out as a gas. Right? So this is a very beautiful change that happens. So we have seen the interconversion of all the states of matter. So I was telling you, now what happens? This is also possible that sometimes you apply so much pressure on a gas that it will directly be converted to a solid. ठीक है, अगर ज्यादा प्रेशर लगाओगे, इसका बेस्ट एग्जांपल होता है ड्राई आइस. लाइक इफ यू टेक कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड गैस and you apply very high pressure on it, then what happens on increasing such pressure, on applying so much of pressure, then carbon dioxide directly gets converted to a solid state, and this solid CO2 is what we call as the dry ice. Where you have seen dry ice, आपने dry ice को देखा होगा आइसक्रीम पार्लर्स के अंदर भी. Forget about that. सबसे अच्छा एग्जाम्पल है at the time of weddings या फिर birthday parties. अब तो people so frequently use it. So whenever there is bride and groom are entering, or कोई भी किसी के घर पे function होता है, so when the main person enters in, then what happens? There is a lot of foam that is coming out. Have you seen that? White color का foggy सा आपको दिखता है, जिसको आप धुआं बोलते हो हिंदी में, है ना? अरे wow, so that's very magical, as if you are in the clouds. वो क्या होता है? That is nothing nothing but carbon dioxide you have stored in the form of solid. That is solid CO2 under high pressure you have stored it, and then you keep it at the room temperature. जैसे ही आप उसे बाहर निकालोगे at the normal pressure, then pressure is reduced and it will again go back to the carbon dioxide. Pressure reduce करते ही then you get that धुआं which you call it. So that is dry ice. Remember this. ठीक है? And these are the all interconversions. So do remember to revise all these changes. Right? Okay, so now very important information ma'am will tell you. If you people have not still enrolled in the long-term batches, then the new batches are started now. So if you really want to join us for the entire year or for 1 month you want to try, then you can come in the subscription now, because now we are having the Vedantu's improvement promise also, in which we are basically giving a guarantee that there would be improvement in your academic performance. Otherwise your fees would be refunded back. Last year we didn't had VIP, but still there were huge number of enrollments with us and students have got like very good results. Okay, so this time though you still have a guarantee, I can say. So what you would be getting, unlimited live classes would be there. Okay, and high level quizzes are there in the class only. So you can just get them resolved. You can ask as many doubts as you want to ask. There are interactive replays. So interactive replay is something that you can again attend at the end of the session when the session is not live. तब भी आप play कर सकते हो. And apart from that, we have like leaderboards in the class, stars with every question. So it's like a real time performance analysis. You can compete with all the students which are sitting with you at the same time in the same batch, right? And after every 15 days we conduct the test also. We give assignments after every class, so we just make sure that your studies are just not hampered at all, whatever is the situation. So it's just the continuous performance that we believe on building up. Okay, so apart from that, in class doubt solving is also there. I told you, quality test and assignments. So assignments होते हैं after every class. Then apart from that, we not just the test series is there separately. Crash course comes in the same subscription. Midterm revision comes in the same subscription. So you don't need to go anywhere else. All the study material is what we provide you. Handwritten notes are also there, and as well as now we have the Tattva books as well. So if you haven't taken it, you can talk to your parents. Unlimited micro courses are there. These are the short chapter based courses, like you didn't understood, let's say, mole concept. So you can attend a particular micro course that is on the mole concept. Okay? And this I have told you already, free crash course and the competitive exams if you are preparing for, that is also part of it. Okay? So if you want the 10% discount, then you would be requiring a coupon code. So you can use this code SKAPRO PRO. That is, take a screenshot again, talk to your parents, they know better. So you go in the description box of this video and you will get a link there. Then some screen like this will appear. Okay, I will change my orientation. You can see this live interactive online classes. So we have three kind of enrollments. The first one is the Pro Lite, then we have the Pro Classic, and then we have Pro Plus. Now what is the difference between them? Pro Lite is for those students like you don't require any doubt solving app, like you don't solve lots of questions. You're like regular padhne wale bacche ho aap, so you stay connected in the classes always. You're always active in all the sessions. You're preparing with the good speed. Then you can go for the light subscription, because you get everything in this case also. So you get the assignments and notes, live class doubt solving, test series is available. Right? And if you talk about Classic, how Classic is different, you also get a doubt solving app. So if you are following a lot of reference books, या फिर you are preparing for some foundation exams and उसमें you have lots of doubts, then you can go for the Classic one. And then finally is the Plus, जिसमें you also get a personal mentor to discuss the assignments. If you don't understand a particular topic, then mentor will help you with that. So personalized classes are there. Counseling is also done by the mentor. So you get everything. ठीक है? So for 1 month you can try. So I will advise you to try for 1 month once. पहले 1 month के लिए try करना, so that you know how it works and whether it is beneficial for me or not, which I am sure it would be. Then you can only try once for 1 month. So if you have tried for 1 month, after that you have to take the year-long subscription. Okay? And in the year-long only comes the VIP, in which we are making a promise that there would be a satisfactory improvement in your scores. If that doesn't happen, then we will return your money back. That's मतलब यार आजकल तो किसी की गारंटी नहीं होती है, and you can apply 10% again that coupon code. ठीक है? चलो, so you don't have to pay hefty amounts now. And one more thing, installments में भी आप pay कर सकते हो. If you are taking the year-long subscription, so it's not that you have to pay the entire fee all at once. Installments वो EMIs बोलते हैं ना जिसको, आप उसमें कर सकते हो. ठीक है? And this is where we come in. We ensure and assure the progress. We believe if it can be measured, it can be improved. No question asked. Your course fee would be returned back to you, but there are certain conditions like a minimum of 75% of attendance. Rather, I just say आपको 100% classes में आना चाहिए. If you are paying for something, उसका पैसा वसूल करना चाहिए, isn't it? Minimum of 75% completion of the assigned test, assignment. So you have to go together with us, right? Chalo. So now new batches are also getting started from 24th, May, and the next week. So after every 15 days, we start a new batch. So you can take the enrollment. This is the coupon code SKAPRO. Talk to your parents, and that's enough. ठीक है, चलो. Now let's talk about the next phenomena, that is evaporation. So we have seen, I will take a red color. So what we have seen so far, we have seen how can we convert the state of matter, and both the factors we have done, temperature as well as pressure. Now evaporation क्या है? This is again a conversion of state of matter. See, what happens, it's not always necessary that you need to apply temperature or pressure for the conversion of state. So nature is so beautiful. There are so many things hidden around us only. So evaporation is one of that thing. So you would have seen that जब भी बारिश हुई, then the water, the rain water that is collected on the roads, it disappear after 1 or 2 days, isn't it? Your clothes are getting dried up. You're not doing anything. Have you ever wondered where is that water going away? या फिर यार अभी तो पानी था रोड पे, and where is that water? Disappear. So that is again a conversion of state of matter. Evaporation may be liquid gets converted to the vapors, but it happens on its own. You are not giving external temperature, you are not changing external pressure, but still there is a change in the state of matter. Isn't it magical? It is, definitely it is. So if I talk about, let's say this is a glass of water. I don't even have water with me. So this is a glass of water. Even now, when you are keeping it at the room temperature, water is still evaporating. It's just that the decrease in volume is marginal. मतलब it's so less that you cannot observe it. That अरे यहाँ भी evaporation हो रहा है. ठीक है? So phenomena of conversion of a liquid to a vapor at any temperature below its boiling point. ठीक है? Any temperature below its boiling point, because boiling point पे you know vaporization happens. We will discuss the difference between the two. Don't worry about it. जैसे देखो, I'll make you understand. This is a glass of water. Okay? And these are the particles of liquid water which are present here. So I have a question for you. Do you think that all these liquid particles would be having the same amount of energy? Tell me in the chat box. जितनी energy इस particle के पास है, like whatever energy the first layer of particles are having, do you believe that the bottom layer particles will also be having the same energy? No, this is not the case, right? So this is what creates a difference now. If you talk about the top layer particle, I will call them surface layer particles. So which are present बिल्कुल at the top of the layer. So these surface level particles are in direct contact with the environment. ठीक है, let's say यहाँ पर sun है, we can also make सूरज चाचू. So sunlight is directly falling on the top layer of the liquid particle. So they have slightly more energy. Not just that, these liquid particles also take the energy from rest of the particles of the liquid. So I can say they have more energy now. So more energy, more kinetic energy, they would be moving much faster. So what happens, a point is reached where these surface particles of the liquid have sufficient energy that they are ready to change their state of matter. They're like, I don't want to live a liquid life anymore, bhai. मेरे पास तो ज़्यादा energy है. I will go into the vapors now. So this liquid particle absorb the energy from rest of the particles, as well as they are just basically absorbing the energy from the surroundings as well, and then finally they get converted to a gas, and this is happening at the room temperature. Normal temperature पर हुआ है, you haven't supplied any energy. Why did it happen? Because some of the particles of the liquid surface level had more energy than the other particles, so they go into the vapors, and this is what we define as evaporation. And this change is happening around you. So जैसे बारिश का पानी है, what happens? Direct sunlight is falling on the top layer of particles, they go into vapors. Then again the second layer, now it is the top layer, absorbs the energy and go away, right? And one more thing, evaporation causes cooling. You would have heard it also. Why does it happen? Because see, these liquid particles have absorbed the energy from the other particles. So because these particles have lost some energy, they lost some heat energy, so now they would be feeling thanda thanda, cool cool. So evaporation always causes cooling. Try to remember this point. There are a lot of phenomena which are taking place around us based on this point. Okay? Okay, let's see the factors affecting evaporation. The first one is the surface area. देखो, surface area के लिए imagine an example. You are having a cup. अरे वाह, that is a nice cup. And you have a saucer. ठीक है, आपके पास एक cup है, एक saucer है. So tell me in the chat box. You tell me, is it easier to sip the hot tea from a cup or from a saucer? कहाँ से आसान होगा? गरम चाय आपको पीनी है. Hot tea, you have to take a sip. So you would prefer the cup or the plate. Definitely you will prefer the plate, isn't it? So why does it happen? Because this plate is having more surface area. ठीक है? More surface area means now more number of particles are at the surface level. Yes, and if I talk about this cup, then less particles are on the surface level. So more particles at the surface level means more particles have enough kinetic energy to overcome the force of attraction and go into the vapors. ठीक है, so ज़्यादा particles क्या करेंगे? They have energy to go into the vapors directly. So whenever the surface area is more, then always evaporation is more. So surface area is directly proportional to evaporation, and a very good example that comes with it is your clothes. Whenever you have washed your clothes and now it's time that you want to dry them, then you always spread your clothes properly on the rope. है ना, अच्छे से spread करते हो, ऐसे थोड़ी है. So you will spread it. So why are you spreading the clothes very well? So that the surface area of the cloth increases. So now more number of particles are on the surface. They absorb the energy and they go into the vapors. So first factor, directly. Okay? The second is temperature. Now temperature का क्या मतलब है? See, if the temperature is more, that means kinetic energy is more. Kinetic energy more, the particles of liquid would be moving much faster. Okay, so more kinetic energy, so they can overcome the force of attraction of the liquid easily and go into the vapors. So if the temperature is more, then also evaporation is high. So iska best example, you would have seen clothes get dry faster in the case of sunny day. So जब भी सूरज होता है on a sunny day, you will see faster clothes are getting dried up. Why? Because this is your t-shirt. See, ma'am ka drawing is so good. Okay, so now what happens? These are the water particles on the t-shirt. ठीक है, so now it's a hot sunny day, sunlight is falling directly on these surface particles. बहुत तेज धूप है, means high temperature is there, so they have enough energy to go into the vapors easily. So I can say that temperature is also directly proportional to evaporation. Two factors: surface area, temperature. Okay, the next one that we would be taking is humidity. लिख लो इसको, this is most important. And whatever is important, I have a habit of writing 101% on it. Even when I was a student, I used to mention 101% this will come in exam, so that I pay more attention to this topic. So humidity क्या है? How do you define humidity? आपने weather forecasting reports पढ़ी होंगी, that they say that humidity in Delhi today has increased to 25%. So what does that extent basically? So humidity is the amount of water vapors in the air. Amount of water vapors in the air. So if on a particular day you feel that air is very you feel that stickiness on your body, you don't even want to touch any other person, I don't come close to me, it's already so stickiness, so that is humidity. So usually humidity high hoti hai after rainy season. So after rain there are a lot of water particles which are water vapors which are still present in the air, so I can say it is already very high. Okay, and air has a limited capacity. ठीक है, air can only hold a limited amount of water vapors. So it's not like कितने भी water vapors can be present in the air. So जैसे you go to watch movie in the theaters, there are limited seats. Just like that, air is also having a capacity. No, इससे ज़्यादा I cannot hold the water vapors. So if on a particular day, let's say humidity is already high. अगर already high है humidity, means air is already holding a lot of water vapors. So in that case, the extent of evaporation would automatically be slow, because evaporation में क्या हो रहा है? The liquid water is converted into the vapors, and those vapors are going into the air. So air will say, नहीं भैया, हमसे ना हो पाई, टुडे आई एम ऑलरेडी हैविंग इतने सारे वाटर वेपर्स, ऊपर से यू डू इवेपोरेशन, यू गिव मी more water vapors. Are you kidding me? So you would have seen that on a sunny day clothes dry up faster, but on a cloudy day, जब cloudy day होता है, then clothes take a lot of time to get dried up, lot of time to get dry. Why does it happen? Because on a cloudy day, the extent of humidity is already high. So this is the most important factor. I can say that humidity is inversely proportional here to evaporation. So if humidity is high, evaporation हमसे ना हो पाई, I am less. ठीक है, then you have the last factor, that is wind speed. ये तो बहुत आसान factor है. So whenever you turn on the fan, your clothes get dried up faster. Why does it happen? So wind speed का मतलब क्या है? That water vapors are going away with the wind. ठीक है, देखो, let's say this is your t-shirt, you have dried up, this is rope के ऊपर, you have just tied it with a pin. ठीक है, and wind speed is very high. These are the water particles on your t-shirt. So अभी क्या होगा? This is your cloth, wind is coming and striking the cloth. ये हवा चली, it strike the cloth and it took away water vapors with it. And even जितने water vapors air में भी होते हैं, if the wind speed is high, then that wind is gonna take away the water vapors with it. So now air around us becomes free from the water vapors. That is why we feel less humid on a windy day also. It's like the stickiness is reduced now because wind has taken away water vapors with it. Okay? So now rate of evaporation can increase. So if the wind speed is high, then evaporation will also be high. Okay, so you have to always remember these four factors: surface area directly proportional, temperature directly, humidity most important inversely related, and then we have the wind speed. Okay, so all these points you will remember. Now for your information, students are always confused in evaporation and vaporization. ये आ सकता है एग्जाम में. So remember this, there is a lot of difference. How is that difference comes into the picture? Let's see that. See, vaporization के लिए second term is boiling. लिख लो, if you ever get confused, vaporization and boiling is same. Let's say I have a glass of water which is kept at the room temperature. मैंने ग्लास रखा है यहाँ पर. So tell me, is it possible that water can boil itself? Tell me in the chat box. Have you ever seen that? पानी को धूप में रख दो. Will it ever boil? Ma'am, I see. No, it never boils. Right, so boiling vaporization is a phenomena in which a liquid is getting converted to vapors, definitely, but not at room temperature. It happens at a particular temperature. It happens at a fixed temperature when all the particles of liquid have sufficient energy. When all the particles, I am saying, all particles have sufficient energy that they can break the force of attraction and go into a vapor. So vaporization or boiling is a phenomena that happens at a fixed temperature, at a given pressure. I told you right now we are defining all these terms at the 1 atmospheric pressure. Like this is the pressure which is exerted by the gas on the sea level. It is exerting some pressure. वो कितना है 1 atm. ठीक है. So if I talk about 1 atmospheric pressure and you start boiling water, then it will get boiled at 100 degrees Celsius. Even if the temperature is 98 degrees Celsius, vaporization will not happen. ठीक है. उसको आप evaporation बोल सकते हो, but not vaporization. For vaporization, temperature has to be 100 degrees Celsius at 1 atmospheric pressure. ठीक है. You have to always remember it. And this is, देखो लिखा है वैसे यहाँ पर, I didn't see that. It is also referred to as boiling. Let's see a very new difference between the two. This difference you wouldn't have heard anywhere. ठीक है. देखो, how can we define boiling? There are some gas particles present in the atmosphere. Those gas particles are exerting some pressure on the liquid. These gas particles are exerting some pressure on the liquid. This pressure I define as the atmospheric pressure. Pressure exerted by the atmospheric particles on my liquid is the atmospheric pressure. At the same time, your liquid particles wants to escape out. Liquid क्या करना चाहता है? Liquid wants to escape out as a vapor. So these liquid particles are also exerting some pressure on the atmosphere from inside. They're like all these liquid particles are exerting pressure on the system, okay, on the surrounding basically you can say. So they are saying we also want to go out, so they are continuously trying their best. So whenever, and this pressure is the vapor pressure which is coming from the liquid, okay, and whenever these two pressures become equal, when the vapor pressure which is exerted by the particles of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure, then boiling will take place. You don't need to mention this point in your school exam. 11th class में we do it in detail. ठीक है. So when the vapor pressure becomes equal to atmospheric pressure and you can see water starts boiling, and घर पे आपने देखा होगा bubbles को. Whenever water starts boiling, there are some छोटू से bubbles that come from the bottom and they keep on popping up. You would have seen that. So why does that happen? Those bubbles are getting formed because these two pressures have become equal. Now it's time that boiling will take place. However, you will never observe such small kind of these bubbles in the case of evaporation. So let's say you keep a glass of water at the room temperature, उसमें कभी bubbles नहीं दिखेंगे which are coming up. Right? So why? Because in that case, the liquid particles do not have enough energy. They don't have enough energy to beat with the atmospheric pressure. ठीक है. So इतना energy होता ही नहीं है इनके पास. They try to exert pressure on the atmosphere, but they are not able to do that. So in the case of evaporation, vapor pressure is always less than the atmospheric pressure. ठीक है. So atmosphere बोलेगा हमसे compete करोगे without any temperature, चलो दिखाते हैं. So in this case, this pressure exerted by the atmosphere is much higher than the pressure exerted by the liquid particles. So they are like हमसे ना हो पाई, we cannot do, ठीक है, we cannot fight with you. And with this one more term I will tell you, boiling is a bulk phenomena. ठीक है. Bulk phenomena means all the particles of the liquid have almost same amount of energy. So whenever boiling is happening, so all the liquid particles are treated in the same way. They're like, we all have the equal amount of energy, so they all have chance to go into the vapors. But whenever I talk about evaporation, then it is a surface phenomena. So just the surface particles have enough energy to go into the vapors. So बताया था ना, उसके केस में particles have different amount of energy, and that is what creates a difference. So this is your one of the homework question. This we have discussed already. Difference between evaporation and vaporization important. We have discussed all the points. So define आप कर सकते हैं easily at a particular temperature vaporization happens, and evaporation at all the temperatures below the boiling point. ठीक है, नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर्स पर देखो, इट हैपेंस एट ऑल टेम्परेचर एट अ फिक्स्ड टेम्परेचर. टेम्परेचर चेंजेस ड्यूरिंग द इवेपोरेशन. It may change during evaporation, but during vaporization, temperature remains constant. Okay, I told you state is changing, temperature has to remain constant, and evaporation is a very slow process. आपको नजर भी नहीं आता है कब होता है, and the water एकदम से disappear, है ना, on the road that is collected there, slow and silent. Overnight it's still happening. Vaporization is a violent process, and it's a fast process because definitely you are giving external heat energy. Okay, evaporation takes place only at the surface. ये मैंने बता दिया. Entire mass of the liquid means bulk of the liquid. Okay, I guess these things are clear to you. So what you have to do at home, this is your homework. How does evaporation causes cooling? Okay, so I have a question for you. You will explain me the earthen pot. Earthen pot को हिंदी में मटका बोलते हैं. So water is always, relatively cooler when it is kept in an earthen pot if you compare it to at the water which is kept at the normal room temperature. ऐसा क्या होता है earthen pot में? The reason lies in the tiny pores. So you have to give the answer in the comment box. So when we will have a one-shot video, I will add the name of the students, ठीक है, who have completed the homework. And then the second one, why should we wear cotton clothes in the summer? Okay, this also you have to do, right? I guess I haven't changed my orientation. You can see ma'am now. Why should we wear the cotton clothes in summer? This also you have to do, right? So again, letting you know about the Vedantu Pro subscription. The new batches are starting now. So the coupon code is SKAPRO. That is Shilpi Kaushik Army Pro. Okay, so for 10% you can apply that. And if you have any confusion related to the session, you can reach out to me on my email or on my Instagram account. I am Kitain. Okay, do not forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can also attend the one-shot videos of the chapter and the mentee and doubt session we will be having very soon. Okay, so ma'am will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.